Star Wars is losing more and more of its cultural significance every year that passes. And the only one to blame for this is Disney, with how poorly managed the whole franchise has been for the last 15 years. And the sequel trilogy really was the beginning of the end for Star Wars and its significance in pop culture. I mean, when you look at episode 7 and when it was announced, there's never been so much hype for Star Wars ever. That's when Star Wars really reached its peak popularity. And even after episode 7 came out, people saw it as a good to decent movie. People were excited for what happens next and the just new direction that Star Wars was heading. Rogue One then follows up after The Force Awakens, and that was seen as a really good movie. People were saying that it really puts the war in Star Wars, which just added more fuel to the fire for how excited people were for Star Wars and just the franchise as a whole and how promising things looked in the future. And then episode 8 comes out, and the franchise has still yet to recover almost 10 years later. And this is by far the most controversial Star Wars movie ever released, and one of the most controversial movies I think ever released. Critics loved it. They praised it for being something different. Meanwhile, fans and general audiences absolutely hated it. Now, if you love the movie, you hate the movie, that's not really what I'm discussing. I'm more so just discussing the overall implications that episode 8 has had on the fan base and the franchise as a whole, and how they really dug themselves in the corner with how they did episode 8. Now, besides all the goofy stuff that happens in the movie, right, the over-the-top jokes, Luke's decharacterization, I think the biggest problem with this movie is that there's no time in between episode 7 and episode 8. Episode 8 picks up right where episode 7 leaves off, which leaves little to no time for damage control if they ever wanted to try to do something to try to make the story more coherent in that time period. For example, between episode 2 and 3, there was about 2 to 3 years that's taking place, and then they made a show, Star Wars The Clone Wars, which takes place in between episodes 2 and 3, and it really helps connect the movies and make the prequel trilogy stronger and giving a lot of love to the prequel trilogy, where the sequel trilogy doesn't really have that because it lacks time. There's just not enough time in between all 3 of the movies to really have a show. And then after episode 8, episode 9 comes out, which retcons a lot of stuff that happens in episode 8, but it's like, okay, why did this stuff happen in episode 8 if you're just going to retcon it in episode 9? You know, I met a lot of people that like episode 8. I do not know. I don't think anybody I know likes episode 9. It's just pure nonsense, and there's no connectivity over the span of the trilogy, and that's Disney's biggest mistake. JJ had one clear vision he wanted to execute. Rian Johnson had another vision he wanted to execute. They just clash on the styles pretty much, and then episode 9 is just pure damage control with the addition of Palpatine, because why the hell not? I mean, the grand finale of Star Wars couldn't even crack $1 billion at the box office. That's just sad and pathetic, for lack of a better word. It feels like the fandom just keeps getting more and more divided ever since those movies have came out, and general audiences just seem like they don't care about Star Wars anymore. When Solo came out, that bombed at the box office, and I thought Solo was a pretty decent movie, and then they had the audacity to claim that people just don't want to see these characters played by other actors, and I don't think that's the case. I think it came out at a really bad time when The Last Jedi was seen in a really poor light, and that's truly what made Solo suffer. Everything Solo sets up just is canceled, either put into a comic book or just never elaborated on again, instead of having more movies made, more shows made, and Star Wars just decided to course correct instead. It seems that Disney just doesn't know what they're doing with Star Wars, and that's apparent with all the canceled projects that they have. They have a ton of canceled movies and shows. Just off the top of my head, there was the Rian Johnson trilogy that was greenlit before The Last Jedi even came out, which was mind-boggling, and then they had Kevin Feige's movie, which was canceled. There was a Boba Fett movie that was canceled. There's a Obi-Wan Kenobi movie that was turned into a series. I mean, there's just so many things. We still have Starfighter that might come out. We don't know if it's going to come out. Patty Jenkins' Star Squadron, I think it was called, or Rogue Squadron, I think that's canceled. There's no thought put into any of these decisions. It's just, alright, let's throw shit on the wall and let's see what sticks. And that's not working out. They had a good run with Mandalorian, and then season 3 came out. You could start to see the decline, because after season 2, you have to watch Book of Boba Fett, and then you have to come back to watch Mandalorian season 3, and there isn't going to be a season 4 because Mandalorian season 4 is turned into a movie. It's like, we can't have anything good in Star Wars without some stupid decision made behind the scenes. You can't just rely on spin-offs to carry your franchise for the next 10 years. That's just not how it's going to work, and that's why Star Wars is in the state it's currently in right now, where just nobody cares about it. I think the true test to see the state of Star Wars and where it's currently at is going to be the Mandalorian movie that comes out in May. If that bombs, I have no idea what the future of this franchise is going to be, and I feel like it is going to bomb. And then if Starfighter does come out and does doesn't do that well either at the box office, then Star Wars is really in trouble. We'll be getting 3 spin-offs a year and won't be seeing a movie for like another 10 years. And I know people want to blame the fans a lot. Oh, the fans are the problem. The fans are toxic. The fans, Star Wars has some of the best fans of like any franchise. You see all the fan movies made. You saw the Battlefront 2 Nexus project, I believe it was, where they completely revamped Battlefront 2 and added all these new units just purely out of passion. Star Wars fans love the franchise. And I hate the saying that nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. No. You criticize things that you love. That's how they get better. You don't just accept any slop that's given to you. Because I see people that are like, oh, you should be grateful that they're even making any content. No. Because when the content is garbage, you should not be grateful for it and you should reject it and you should let them know. Because you should never be grateful for the opportunity to consume something. The company should be grateful that you're even giving them money to see something in the first place. And if you're giving them money for something, then they better have something good. Otherwise, you're not going to give them money and you're going to stop supporting them. That's how business works. Because when you just consume slop and you're going to take whatever you can get, then you're just going to get more slop. And the content is never going to improve. Star Wars really needs a home run in the box office. Star Wars needs something good to happen consistently. I mean, Andor was pretty good, right? Mandalorian was good. But you have these very minor successes and just a lot of misses. And Star Wars needs a lot of hits right now. They need a plan. And they need to execute it properly. They can't just spitball the next 15 years and think the franchise isn't going to suffer. Hopefully Dave Filoni can succeed where Kathleen Kennedy failed to, but I feel like the problems with Star Wars may go deeper down than we may think. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Are you guys excited for Mandalorian and Grogu? Do you care about it? Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one.